What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and gals, thank you guys so much for all the support y'all gave on the last video of when I crashed my car, and all the other supports on all the videos that I've been coming up with. But let's get started with this post. It's been 2 days. It's actually doing good. We're keeping on schedule and stuff like that. We're actually doing fantastic. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it strong. But I hope you guys hit that like button and subscribe if you guys really like it. But let's get right into this story time that I have for you guys today. This story time is about the time that I worked in retail. Retail is definitely a job that I would say is not on the difficult side, depending on dealing with customers or if you're on the floor side. So the place we'll call that I've actually what I worked at, we'll call it Homestay. If you know what Homestay is, you know what it is. It's basically a furniture slash retail store that sells like candy, cookware, furniture, rugs. It basically sold all of those types of stuff. Basically, I worked there for a whole year. Each job I work at, I usually stay for only a year. After a year, I usually try to find another job that pays more and I can, use more of my time efficiently. So I got to the job. There was 3 managers. All 3 managers, like me, had a lot of friends and cousins and stuff like that that I've invited to come to work with me, so they were able to get a job there with me. So I worked with a lot of younger people because I was a teenager at the time. I'm around 17 years old. So I had a lot of people who were my age who worked there. So it was a really fun job. I would say the job was probably less fun for people who were older and didn't have a lot of people, but because I was able to get so many of my friends who lived in the neighborhood who didn't really have any work and stuff like that, they were able to come with me and work, and we would have fun at the same time. So at that time, I was a teenager at the time, working. Sometimes I'd work 40 hours a week. The other times I'd work the highest I've got was 70 hours a week. That one was, I was really trying to get $1,000 paycheck because that was the time where I was working up to get my 370Z that I wanted at the time, because I had no money. My dad was like, "Oh, you need a job." So immediately applied for Home Goods, got in. That's when I started working. I got one 70-hour week for $1,000 paycheck. That was probably the worst week I've ever had. I literally had to work every single day, more than 11-hour shifts to get. It was like around 77 hours. Had to work 11-hour shifts, and I met all 3 of my managers. And none of my managers knew how much hours I worked until the end of the week. Maybe about Saturday, they were like, "Do you know how many hours you worked?" And I said, "Yeah." And they're like, "You getting paid almost as much as me." I said, "Shoot, I had to work 70 hours. You had to work maybe 40. So I was like, shoot. I said, I'm doing something wrong. But, at the time, you're just happy to get it. But I enjoyed it. There was a lot of dealing with customers and stuff like that, getting rugs down and the side. So basically, for most of the girls, they would have on cash register. And most of the guys, they would have them take down rugs, move furniture, take that stuff out to people's cars and stuff like that. And every time we did that, some people would be nice enough to give you, $5, $10. I got somebody who was so gracious and gave me $50. It was around Christmas time of not last year, because now it's 2023, but the year before that, we would say 2021. I had a person do that. It was fantastic, not gonna lie. As a 17-year-old, barely getting any money, when someone hands you a $50 bill just for bringing something to the car, you feel like fantastic. But the environment was really fun. Usually we'd be in the back room, usually building furniture, taking boxes apart, throwing the trash away, because they had a little compress thing that compresses all the trash together. And usually, as the guys, we would do is, because the managers trusted me so much, and I was usually, as I would say, I would take care of all the teens, because there were so many teens back there. And out of the guys, I was the most responsible, as you would say. So they usually came to me to make sure everybody else was doing what they were doing. So they usually didn't come back there as often because of that. Sometimes when we did have free time and we knew they weren't going to be there for a minute, or we may have, they may not have come today, we would usually, we start grabbing the football, or we'd grab something back there, we start playing around and stuff like that. You would still enjoy, still get to work, still get stuff done, clean around the place and all that. But, maybe an hour of the 8-hour day or 6-hour day that we were there, we would, enjoy stuff like that. And then the best part of the job that I would say that I had was they would, each quarter, they would give you a $160 bonus if you stayed with them for the whole quarter. Now, you have to stay about 3 months to do that. And for teenagers at the time, I didn't really have any other job other than I was lifeguarding at the time. So I did stay for all 3 months. For each quarter, I stayed for about 4 quarters that they had. So $160 extra was great to me, other than I didn't realize, until now, that when I looked back at my pay stubs, that, it was taxable money, so it all got taxed. It wasn't one of those where, oh yeah, we get you $160. No, technically gave me more of like $60, or me about 80, because taxes comes along and takes half the money anyway. But basically, that was one of my favorite times that I had in there. And then on top of that, they also did, every 2 months, they would get you either individual Pizza Hut boxes for you to eat, eat your own individual pizza, or they would get you the individual Chinese food so you can eat Chinese food. That was actually one of the greatest parts of my job at Home Safe. And, stuff like that was really nice, and they took care of you depending on who you were. If you were able to get along with the managers got along with you. As long as you worked hard, they were good. But sometimes I would have like my bro we'd call E. E was a funny guy. He always smoked. He always had a cart, and he was always smoking the cart anywhere he went. And back then, I didn't smoke as much. I started smoking a little bit, but I wasn't heavy on smoking. So, one day I did have I had a little bit of weed left, maybe like 2 grams or something like that, and I decided, bro, let's go smoke outside. And we took a smoke break and stuff like that, enjoyed and stuff like that, came back high as hell. One time I was there, and it was the time that I decided to bring. I had some Seagrams alcohol, and I'm a lightweight when it comes down to alcohol. 2 shots and I'm usually good, but I'm a person who does not say no when it comes down to giving me alcohol. If somebody keeps giving it to me, I will keep taking. So I decided to bring like 3 or 4 Seagrams to the job, and I decided that I would drink all of the Seagrams on the job. And Seagrams is like 2% alcohol. It's not a lot of alcohol, but it doesn't take a lot for me to get drunk. So after 2 of them, I'm already feeling it. But because I'm in front of all the bros, I'm trying to act tough. I decided to drink all 4. Now I'm messed up. I'm wobbling. I'm trying to stay focused. They're trying to hide me in the back room to make sure my managers don't see and all that stuff. Now, I'm not saying I was a bad person, but I would say we did have fun on the job. There was definitely different experiences that I had, and I definitely learned different skills being on that job, like management, on top of managing how to control yourself when you're talking to customers, because customers will get upset with you and all that stuff like that, and you got to be able to take that and still become polite and not lose your job, because when you're 17-year-old, all you're worried about is not trying to lose your job and stuff like that. And I know this one's a little long conversation about the story time and stuff like that. I do appreciate y'all coming to support me. I will be posting, every 2 days, and we will be getting, into this grind even harder. And I appreciate y'all. Let's get going in this 2023, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of y'all day.